Okay, it's episode number 36 of That Marketing Show. My name is Matt Coffey. This episode is brought to you by First Doctor, creating market leaders in the healthcare profession. Hey, I want to talk today about something that seems to be kind of in this area of the time of year, something that people have very little of, and that is patience. So, one of the challenges that, especially from a marketing standpoint, so if you're working on a project or you're working with a client, we work with lots of clients, and the same theme comes up, which is, when's this going to work for me? Or you guys get started and I haven't seen results yet. When do you expect results, and how fast? And marketing today is a lot different, meaning that there is a body of work that if you go back 10 years, maybe 20 years ago, even more realistic, is that you just did marketing. You constantly, you had a budget, you did marketing. You ran ads in papers, you ran ads in magazines. There wasn't really a way to, to justify or look at numbers. There wasn't an instant return or instant gratification, which has kind of come out of some of the internet marketing strategies these days, where you put $10 in, you get $20 out. The process of having patience in the marketplace, of having your brand develop, having the marketing develop, and having referrals from the leads that come in from this marketing as a general sense of trying to look at a long-term ROI has sort of been muted by the fact that this patience issue, because of the ways that you can now, or ways in the past where you could manipulate the search engines to rank faster, and especially with pay-per-click, there is an opportunity to immediately get some results. But in general, a brand itself needs to mature, especially in today's marketing, because of all the competition. So there's a lot more people playing, especially in the local services area, in online marketing and internet marketing, where if you look at the general ecosystem, people are all now starting to come into this market space, so there's a lot more people involved. And Google's made it a lot more difficult, especially with their updates and their algorithm. So things take longer. But the concept is, in all of these categories, whether it's social media, whether you're on Google or you're trying to do plain old paid advertising, is the ability to fail fast and then move forward. So part of the challenges, especially with a lot of the folks that we work with, is that they have a gestation period where they anticipate where things in the market should resonate and there should be a return on investment immediately. Just because they're seeing so much in the market space that there is a somewhat quasi one-to-one relationship where if something isn't working, well, let's just try something else. Without actually even looking at the details and the data and the analytics behind it, and then understanding why something might fail, and then moving forward and inching it along to a better place. Instead of just trying something out completely, well, this is actually taking a look at the data and then re-engineering your thought process. And that's why when we try and get the process around the thoughts of someone, especially who's new to internet marketing or has had, previously had maybe some poor experiences, is that there isn't a magic silver bullet. It is testing and running ads or running SEO strategies or running social strategies, seeing what works and coming back and doing it over and over and improving as you go along. And this takes time because you can't get data sets in the matter of days or weeks. It takes months and sometimes years for especially a business to understand what works well in the market. And it changes so dramatically that you need to almost like half-time adjustment the process as you move along. And this, again, adds more time into the strategy. And especially now, since we've had so many updates within Google's algorithm, things take twice to 3 times longer to get into the reality of the market space, which is really things are going to be a little bit tougher to now get businesses in the positions where they want to be. So let's talk about that. It's really now coming down to the value of your content. It's the value of what you're doing for the business. This is old-time rules. It's almost like it reminds me of old school marketing, where the only way that, let's say if you're at an event or a physical event where you're out and doing some some actual networking between people, or you're at a party, the person who has the best story, people resonate towards. It's the same thing online. You have to have the content, the value of your content, be significantly better than your competitors. The second thing is localize your flavor, or localize the context, meaning, or I guess you could say segment your content into the contextual pieces of where you're trying to be. So if you're trying to, let's say, be in a specific industry, well, where are those people? Where is the dialogue? So either localize it from a local standpoint of a physical mile radius, or localize that content into the industry and where those people are. Just do not blast out into space your message, but go into the places where the best fish, you might say, are for getting. The creative itself is an engine for distribution. So again, great content, great localized flavor, or great localized specific vertical, great content. Now you can like and share that content, or people will like and share that content back out. So if you've got this figured out, the distribution of your content, meaning the SEO, right? Because that's really sort of where the search engines kind of pick this up. They're like, well, there's something being shared, liked, plus, and the search engine is like a giant sort of filter of like what's good, and even the social media engines or social media companies are now figuring out, well, we just can't blast out everything. We have to get the best value for our audience. Well, if it's getting shared and it's getting liked, it's going to rise to the top. So if you've got good value, you're in a specific area where it makes a lot of sense, well, that's that context piece. Now it gets distributed, and that is social currency. So this is really what today, as the search engines move into a space where it's sort of, I guess you could say it's got human, or not even human capabilities, but it's got natural algorithm sort of learning capabilities, not only search engines, but the social media companies also are starting to say, what's the social currency of this? And so if your content and your value is right on time, right in the areas it needs to be, and you've kind of, again, measured and figured out what works the best, well, now your social currency raises up. And this is where it comes down to. It's attention is the actual measurement of the success. Are you getting people to pay attention to you? And that is the big story today, which is if you can get people to pay attention to your information, you will win. Right? There are no shortcuts anymore. Money does not equal happiness. Again, but almost up until about a couple of years ago, you could throw a lot of money at the search engines and sort of force your way to the top. And that was sort of why the industry was able to kind of explode for a while. But now everything's kind of back to, you have to think about all this and then put your money in, and then you're happy. All right? So I hope this helps. We'll see you in the next episode.